Right now, the largest American naval force in years is heading toward Iran. But before anyone talks about what happens next, look at this pattern. Alexander the Great invades Persia in 330 BC. His campaign collapses. The Mongols invade in 1219. Decades of fighting never finish the job. Saddam Hussein invades in 1980 with American weapons. 8 years, 1 million dead, gets nowhere. The US invades Afghanistan next door in 2001. 20 years later, withdraws in defeat. 4 empires, 4 centuries, 4 different technologies, same outcome. What is it about this place that makes it unconquerable? The answer is written in the terrain itself. Iran sits in the heart of the Middle East, bordered by Iraq to the west, Afghanistan to the east, Turkey in the Caucasus to the north, and the Persian Gulf to the south. It's roughly 1.65 million square kilometers, about the size of Alaska, with 90 million people. Pull up a map of Iran. The entire country is a natural fortress. 2 massive mountain ranges guard the borders. The Zagros Mountains to the west, running 1,600 kilometers, and the Alborz Mountains to the north, stretching 900 kilometers. Between them sits a plateau over 1,200 meters high, and filling the center are 2 of the hottest deserts on Earth. This isn't just difficult terrain. This is geography that's been stopping armies for 2,500 years. Now here's where it gets interesting. Everything described so far, mountains, deserts, supply line nightmares, that's all ancient geography. But it's 2026. Modern militaries have precision-guided missiles that can hit a target from 1,000 kilometers away. They have drones that don't need supply lines. They have satellite surveillance that sees everything. They have air superiority that can destroy any conventional military in weeks. So the question becomes, does geography even matter anymore? The United States can absolutely strike Iran, launch airstrikes to destroy facilities, hit leadership bunkers, potentially destroy nuclear sites. Though Fordow is buried 90 meters inside a mountain. Execute a naval blockade through the Strait of Hormuz, which handles 20% of the world's oil. Modern technology makes all of that possible. But here's the question no one wants to ask. Can you invade? Can you occupy? Can you control 90 million people across terrain like this? Because strikes are one thing. Holding territory is something completely different. Let me show you exactly how this fortress works. These aren't gentle hills. The Zagros peaks rise over 4,000 meters high, with narrow passes, no water sources, and brutal elevation changes that make every approach a kill zone. And we know it works because it's been tested. From 1980 to 1988, Saddam Hussein tried to invade through these mountains. He had American intelligence, French weapons, and chemical weapons. For 8 years, Iraqi forces attacked. The result? They never broke through. Over 1 million people died, and the war ended in stalemate. The geography was impenetrable. Here's why mountains matter militarily. Supply lines become impossible. No roads, extreme altitude. Artillery and armor can't navigate the terrain. Defensive positions become unassailable with high ground advantage. Every pass becomes a kill zone where attackers get channeled into predictable routes. The northern border has the same problem. The Alborz Mountains, running along the Caspian coast, Mount Damavand stands at 5,610 meters, taller than any peak in Europe. Even the Soviet Union during World War II never attempted to cross. Their forces stayed on the coastal plains. What about going around the mountains through Iran's center? The entire interior is surrounded by mountains on all sides. Filling the center are 2 massive deserts, the Dasht-e-Kavir and Dasht-e-Lut. These deserts hit ground temperatures exceeding 70 degrees Celsius, among the hottest places on Earth. 0 water, 0 shade, 0 cover. Vast distances between population centers. To reach Tehran or major cities, invaders have 2 options. Cross the mountains, impossible with armor and artillery, or cross the deserts with no water, extreme heat, and no resupply. Both are logistical nightmares. Defenders can retreat into the interior, but attackers can't follow without their supply lines collapsing. Remember that question? Can you occupy terrain like this? We just spent 20 years testing the answer. In 2001, the United States invaded Afghanistan, the country right next door to Iran, and Afghanistan has striking geographic similarities. The Hindu Kush Mountains, with peaks over 7,000 meters, roughly half the country sitting above 2,000 meters elevation, limited road access through mountain passes, harsh deserts, perfect terrain for guerrilla warfare. The Taliban government collapsed in weeks, total military victory, but then something happened that no one expected. For the next 20 years, American forces never controlled the mountainous territory. The Taliban retreated into the mountains and became unassailable. Despite $2 trillion spent, despite air superiority, despite precision weapons, despite drones, the United States could control major cities but not the terrain. In August 2021, when American forces withdrew, the Taliban returned to power in days. 20 years, $2 trillion, the most advanced military technology in human history. Geography 1. Now let's talk about Iran. Afghanistan is 652,860 square kilometers with 40 million people. Iran is 1.65 million square kilometers, 2.5 times larger. It has 90 million people, more than double the population. It has the same mountainous defensive geography, but Iran actually has better infrastructure, more resources, and a stronger national identity with a 2,500-year history of resisting foreign occupation. So here's the brutal math. If the United States couldn't control Afghanistan with 20 years of trying, how could it possibly occupy Iran, a country 2.5 times larger with twice the population and equally mountainous terrain? The answer is simple: it can't. So if invasion and occupation are off the table, what can the United States actually do? Option 1. Air campaign only. Launch sustained airstrikes to destroy military facilities, nuclear sites, and infrastructure without putting boots on the ground. This is the most likely scenario. The problem? Iran has spent decades preparing for exactly this. Critical facilities like Fordow are buried 90 meters inside mountains, nearly impossible to destroy even with bunker-busting bombs. Air campaigns can damage, but they can't eliminate Iran's military capabilities when they're dug into mountain complexes, and airstrikes don't stop guerrilla forces or proxy networks. Option 2. Naval blockade. Use carrier strike groups to cut off Iran's oil exports and imports through the Strait of Hormuz. The problem? Iran can retaliate by closing that same strait, which carries 20% of global oil supply. That means shutting down energy flows to Europe and Asia, triggering global economic crisis. A naval blockade becomes mutually destructive. Option 3. Proxy warfare and support for opposition. Fund and arm internal opposition groups to destabilize the regime from within, like the US has done in Syria, Libya, and elsewhere. The problem? Iran's mountainous geography works both ways. It's also perfect terrain for the regime to retreat into and maintain control from fortified positions. And Iran has its own well-established proxy networks across Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen that could open multiple fronts simultaneously. Option 4. Limited strikes and withdrawal. Execute specific targeted strikes on highly valued targets, then pull back without attempting occupation. This is basically the 2020 Soleimani strike model. The problem? It doesn't change the strategic calculus. Iran's military infrastructure remains intact, its proxies remain active, and its geography remains impenetrable. You can kill leaders, but you can't conquer mountains. Every alternative runs into the same geographic reality. You can hurt Iran from the air or the sea. You can potentially destabilize it through proxies, but you cannot invade it, occupy it, or control its territory. The mountains won't allow it. The deserts won't allow it. Iran's geography hasn't changed in 2,500 years. Alexander the Great learned this. The Mongols learned it. Saddam Hussein learned it. America just learned it in Afghanistan. The question isn't whether the US has the firepower to strike Iran. It absolutely does. The question is whether anyone can defeat geography itself. What do you think? Can modern military technology overcome geographic advantages like Iran's mountains and deserts? Or will terrain always give defenders the upper hand? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed learning how geography shapes military strategy, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to True Geo for more stories about how the land itself shapes victory.